and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddie and this is my October wrap-up. It's not quite the end of the month, but my husband Brock and I are going to Moab, Utah for a weekend trip, and I don't think I'm gonna have time to film my wrap-up. And just like usual, I'm going to tell you guys my lowest rated book to my highest rated book. The timestamps will be down below. There's two books that I'm currently reading that I think I'll finish before the end of the month. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. That's the first book in the Part of Your World like duology. I think there's only two books, and I already read the second book, which was Yours Truly, and I gave that one 4 stars, I believe. And I'm about halfway through the audiobook of Part of Your World, and I'm really liking it. I liked Yours Truly, I feel like a little bit better, but again, I'm only halfway through, so I can't judge it completely just yet. But if you guys really want to see the rating of that one, go follow my Goodreads and you guys can watch that. The other book that I'm currently reading, which I do count rereads into my yearly goal, and I'm rereading Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, all leading up to the Crescent City 3 release. So I'm officially starting the Throne of Glass reread. The other day I literally teared up because I was starting the reread. Like, I was so excited, like I couldn't contain my excitement. Those are the two books that I'm currently reading that I think I'll finish before November. Now let's get into the real wrap up. I read 6 books. Honestly, I feel like I would be bummed by that, but I'm not. Like, 6 books. It's been a busy, hectic month, but all of these books have been so good. Very impressed with my October books. I'm gonna pause really quick in the middle of this program. I am launching my own embroidery Etsy shop. Bookish embroidery specifically. So this one is my favorite. It says Shh, I'm reading, and I am so excited to show you guys. I've actually been showing you guys a lot on my Bookstagram, and if you guys want to look at the other designs that I'm offering, the link to my Etsy shop is down below. Go find a new sweatshirt. It's gonna be cozy. My lowest rated book this month was 3 stars, and that was, of course, is it at the bottom? I'm just gonna ignore that. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I gave 3 stars. Surprising, because I loved Icebreaker. I gave that one 5 stars. One, this was a big deal in my head. This bothers me. I mean, come on. Can the new publisher just copy what she did originally? But I do love these 2 covers. I felt that this one was edited too much. Like, this one had a lot of necessary depth and detail behind the characters, whereas this one felt a little too edited, like too published, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Like, it just seemed edited down. Like, there could have been more fluff, and I would have liked the extra fluff. So although I loved the book and I think I would recommend it, when I compare it to her other one, I liked Stas and Nathan better. Forget about Icebreaker for a second. Russ and Aurora, so cute. Same aspects that I liked in Icebreaker were in this one. So like, there was big mental health awareness as well as like the character backgrounds. Like, I really like it when the characters have some trauma, but I like it when they have a little bit to deal with, if that makes sense. Good, but 3 stars. Like, please read it because we all love Hannah Grace, but comparatively speaking, not my favorite. That was my lowest rated book. The next one was a 4 star, and I had a lot in the 4 star category. The first 4 star was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I absolutely devoured this book. It took me not even 24 hours. It's in this reading vlog right here. So easy to digest. It was a little predictable, but in the sense that like the end still left me like, though. And I read Ward D back in August, I think. I really didn't like the narrator. Whereas this one, I physically read it and I loved Frida McFadden's writing. I got into it way more. It was really fast paced. Can we just talk about how dumb psychological thriller characters are? Like, why did this girl get a job as a housemaid in a house where her bedroom had the lock on the outside, the windows were sealed shut, and there were scratch marks on the door? Red flag number 1 was the lock being on the outside. You know, I would have been like, meh, can't live here. But she does, because she's desperate. The end, I don't want to say was a cliffhanger, but it was such a good lead into the book 2. And I know there's 2 books, maybe a 3rd coming out, but I don't know what the second book is called. I'll put that right here because I should know, but I don't. And I really want to read that, but I don't know when I will. I just want to read it eventually. So 4 stars. I was so happy about this one. And like, I'm not a big thriller mystery, like I like them, but I don't gravitate towards them. Like I'm never like, oh, I really want to read that. I just read them and then I'm like, oh, I really liked that. Like I should read more, and then I never do. To get in like the Halloween spirit for October, great. But this is literally the only book that I read that got me into that like, oh, it's October kind of mood. I did reread A Court of Frost and Starlight. This took me a week and a half to finish for some reason. I don't know why. 5 days to read 60 pages. Like I just wasn't feeling it. But then one day I just picked it up and finished it all. So that was great. But so this book is so underrated. This book is so underrated. I saw a TikTok somewhere and I completely agree with this girl. Like this book gets so much hate, but they just had 3 books. They were going through hell. They literally were going through so much trauma that this book is a wonderful palate cleanser with a lot of Easter eggs. Like so many Easter eggs that relate definitely to other books. I was annotating like the heck out of this book. Like the first time I read it, I gave it 3 stars because I was in my mental state of like, I want them to struggle, I guess. I don't know. But now that I know that like I'm on the lookout for Easter eggs and stuff, I loved this book. The next 4-star I actually just finished last night. Caught Up by Liz Tom Ford. Liz Tom Ford is definitely like a top author of mine now, like top 5 for sure. It reminds me of Mariana Zapata. You know what I'm talking about. Like there's crack in her books. There's literal drugs. I'm addicted to her writing and the way I feel about her characters. This one specifically is about Miller and Kai. Miller is a famous chef. Kai is a baseball player on a really big team. Me knowing nothing about sports. He's on a big baseball team. Cool. Kai is a single dad and a full-time baseball player, so he is looking for a nanny. He's been really picky with nannies in the past. Miller happens to be the coach's daughter, so you're getting a lot of tropes in this one also. Miller is the coach's daughter, and she's like, I'll take care of your son for the summer. He's like, no, you seem like a wild child. I don't need you watching my son. And little does he know he'll fall in love with her within like 5 weeks. So Kai and Miller's relationship was so sweet, but you know what really got me was Miller and her dad's relationship. I'm a daddy's girl. I cried so many times when they had scenes together just because of how their relationship was and how supportive her dad was. I loved the father-daughter relationship in this one, but as well as the little boy in this book, Kai's son, what, a toddler, he wasn't cringy, and I've mentioned this 1,000 times, but when books have kids in them, it can be really cringy when like the kid is saying, you know, its first word, I don't know, it's just described very, I don't like the way it's described when kids are talking in books. Child in this book did not speak, so that was great. Too young to speak, which was wonderful. Now compared to Mile High and The Right Move, which are right here, The Right Move is top 5 of this year, like will make my top 5 for sure. I love this book. I think about it all the time. Where Mile High is probably 2nd place, this one probably falls 3rd place. I like ranking my books, like when I read them in a series, so this one falls in the 3rd place category. Even though that I loved it, it just didn't beat the other 2 for me. I think the other 2 had a lot more struggles, like they as a couple like had to deal with a lot more, whereas this one, it was too easy. Such a pretty cover too. I absolutely love the warm colors compared to her other ones, like because she's not doing these covers anymore, because I don't think she is, at least. I don't know if there's any, oh, there is. Play Along, there's another book coming, and I think that's Kai's brother's book. And I'm loving this series and I will continue buying them. I just hope the covers stay the same because I love these covers. Liz Tom Ford, I know you don't watch my videos, but don't change them. 4.5 stars was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And this book is worth the hype, you guys. I feel like the smut, there wasn't any, just so you guys know. And you guys know I need smut in my books. That's kind of a must. What lacked in spice made up for in banter. The funny, like, wittiness of these characters kept me so entertained. It's Hunger Games-ish, but with a lot more banter, and I hope that the future books have a little bit of spice in it, but even if they don't, I would be okay with it. The politics are a little fuzzy, like I think it's trying to be a higher fantasy, but it's not. Like, Hayden and I want to say Peyton so bad, and Kai actually. So I had 2 Kais this month, but Kai wasn't caught up as well. But Kai in this book, he has powers where if he is around someone with other powers, he can like absorb them and use them himself. So he can like kind of steal other people's powers, like if he's close in proximity to them. Peyton has no powers at all. She's really badass with a dagger, sword, bow and arrow. She's got it down. Her father raised her to be people with powers versus the powerless in this book, and she gets called up to this competition. They go through literally very like the intro to this competition is so Hunger Games, it's ridiculous. There were a few plot twists, I feel like some that were you saw coming but were needed to progress the story, and I thought that added a lot to the book. If you're subscribed to me because I recommend smutty books, and that's usually what I do recommend, pick it up anyway. You're gonna like it. The last book that I gave 5 stars, it was a reread, and you guys could probably already tell what it is, A Court of Silver Flames. 2 years ago when I read it the first time, I gave it 5 stars. And now I'm giving it 5 stars again because the depth of Nesta is absurd. I went hard on the tabbing and the annotating, and like I just was so into it. I cried every single morning that I read this book. Like there was just, I feel like I don't really relate to Nesta in the sense that I am a people pleaser and she's just not, but like she is mentally, she wants to love so bad. She really wants to be a good person, but she doesn't want anything to lose. I don't want to have friends. I don't want to be in love with Cassian. I don't want to forgive anyone. I don't want anyone to forgive me because that means I have to love them and I have something to lose. Like I don't want to lose them. She'd rather just be a bitch and standoffish than lose that person. People who shit on Nesta, I refuse to speak to you. We saw Feyre's character development in 3 books. Nesta girl, she went through it. In the parallels, because this is really when Sarah J. Maas started picking up the parallel pieces, just left and right. I mean, like one word relates to other books. Still kind of upset that I finished this book. Like I'm sad that I'm not reading it anymore. It's my favorite book in the whole series. Like out of all of the ACOTAR books, this one's my favorite. 6 stars. There you go. That was my October reading month, plus 2 books that I think I'll finish within the next few days. Thank you for tuning in. Fireheart Embroidery is out October 27th after this video is posted, so you guys can go click the link in the bio if you want your own embroidered bookish sweatshirt. Click the link in the bio. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.